Hi, I'm Annette Richmond. Thanks for joining me today. I've just got started with Substack and I'm learning the different ways that it can support my content strategy. As I've been experimenting, I've picked up a few things that might help you if you're thinking about jumping on Substack or if you've started but you're not quite sure how all the pieces fit together. Today, I'm going to walk you through how I'm using Substack right now, what I learned from hosting my first Substack Live, how I'm sharing podcast audio on the platform, how notes and posts actually function, and a few things that I wish I knew earlier. So let's just dive in. I added Substack to my content workflow because it gives me an easy way to share different types of content in one place without making anything more complicated than it needs to be. Right now, I'm using Substack for notes, short updates and ideas. I'm doing some posts, which are deeper, more newsletter style content, and repurposing a few solo episodes for my Buzzsprout hosted podcast. I'm not moving my podcast to Substack. Buzzsprout has been my podcast home since 2020, but Substack gives me an additional place to share some episodes for people who prefer consuming their content over on that platform. Overall, it's been a simple way to stay present without creating more work. Moving on to my first Substack Live. I recently hosted my first live with my friend Brenda Meller, and let's start by talking about the requirements to do live. You must have at least 10 in-app subscribers to unlock the live function. Not just subscribers, but in-app subscribers, which seems to mean people who subscribe specifically while in the Substack app on mobile. Once you hit that number, live becomes available. At least right now. My first Stack Live was done on my phone. My co-host and I were both on our phones. I was reading the chat on my desktop. And for someone used to going live from my desktop, it was really a challenge. The setup, the audio, the navigation, the first time for everything, it all felt a little awkward. I was incredibly grateful to have Brenda navigating it all with me. Substack has since opened up the ability to stream from the desktop using a third-party app, which feels like it will be a major improvement, although it depends on how tricky setting up the connection will be. And if you're a live streamer, you understand that's the topic for a whole other day. Now, I am planning to use Restream, which I've been using for a couple of years now for my next live. As for the live itself, it was great. It was fun, and the 30 minutes just flew right by. And several people actually even showed up, which is much better than LinkedIn Lives of late. I also discovered how helpful Substack is to creators. They emailed me graphics to promote the event, provided a downloadable video and audio, and a cut and paste transcript, and a few video clips without me even asking. And they provided it all to my co-host as well. Notes have become a very useful part of my Substack routine because they're quick and easy to create, as they don't require the structure of a full newsletter or LinkedIn post. Most of the notes I see are text only, which saves time too. Since notes are the easiest way to get discovered on Substack, I've been trying to share 2 to 3 a day. Now, it seems like notes are designed for short form thoughts and updates. I saw someone liken them to tweets, which sounds kind of like maybe. While there's no official word limit, notes fall between a sentence or two and a short paragraph or a few paragraphs, roughly around 150 words. But I've seen longer notes as well. I've been using the notes function to share video tips, ideas I want to share when they're fresh, thoughts that I think might help others. Today in a note, I talked about crossing things off our to-do list by just letting them go. They also don't go out via email to your subscribers, so it's a simple way to stay active on the platform without showing up in somebody's inbox all the time. As I mentioned, I'm also sharing selected podcast episodes on Substack. While Substack offers the podcast hosting, I'm keeping my podcasts on Buzzsprout, but I've decided that I will be sharing a few of my solo episodes on Substack. by simply uploading individual audio files. In the post, I share a bit about the episode number, and where my podcast can be found. And while I share them using the post or newsletter format, I don't email them to my subscribers. Just a note, if you don't want to email a post, when it's time to publish your post, just make sure to uncheck the send via email and the Substack app box under delivery, and it will just be published on Substack. I primarily use post, or what people consider the newsletter format, for longer pieces, similar to something I might share on a LinkedIn newsletter or my business newsletter. To keep them engaging, I always include images, graphs, or short video clips. Now, this is the content that I do send out email to my subscribers. But as I mentioned, email or not is totally up to you. I think of posts as the place where I'm building a library of more substantial content, while notes are smaller, bite-sized, easier to create content. Just write a few lines of text or upload a video with a sentence or two, and you're done. A few things I wish I would have known from the start. You do need 10 in-app subscribers to use the live function. Live streaming from your phone, but streaming from the desktop is going to be a whole lot easier. Notes are great for short updates. They don't have to be perfect or polished, and text only is just fine. You can easily add video or audio on posts or notes. Like other platforms, it's a good idea to mix up your content. Longer posts as well as notes, adding audio and video also. The last thing I'll add is, if you're considering Substack, be sure to get your name or your preferred handle before somebody else does. Even if you're not interested in becoming a creator, sign up for an account, as you'll need that to access the content from your favorite creators. And while you may think your name is unusual, let me tell you, it's probably not. I cannot count the number of Annette Richmonds there are out there. Now, if you want more frequent content from me, do subscribe to my Substack at Annette Richmond on Substack. And as always, if you found this episode valuable, please share it with a friend. I bet they'll thank you. And I'll see you next time.